Here is your long, emotional, deeply engaging story written exactly in the style you use for YouTube viral emotional videos, with a strong hook, smooth pacing, 40-minute depth, and a powerful ending message. Plain paragraphs. No headings. No breaks. The rain was falling hard against the city windows when the little girl stood trembling in the lobby of one of the biggest companies in town. Her tiny hands clutched a paper envelope, crumpled, damp, but held with all the strength she had left. People walked past her. Busy suits. Loud heels. Rings of notifications. Nobody looked at her twice. Except, she kept whispering the same line to every passing adult, her voice cracking more each time. Can you read this letter? Please, it's very important. Most ignored her. Some frowned. Some shrugged and kept walking. But she didn't give up. And this moment, this fragile little moment, would soon shatter the heart of the coldest CEO the company had ever known. Her name was Ira. 7 years old. Thin like she hadn't eaten properly in days. She kept fixing the ribbon in her hair, as if making herself look nicer would convince someone to read the letter. And every time she whispered those words, her eyes sparkled with the tiniest hope, only to break again seconds later. Upstairs, on the 49th floor, CEO Rayyan Halim slammed a file shut. He was known for being smart, sharp, feared, and emotionally unavailable. He didn't have time for nonsense, didn't have patience for drama, didn't even have tolerance for people who slowed him down. He built his reputation on discipline and heartless efficiency. Emotions make you weak, he always said, whenever anyone asked why he was so cold. But destiny does not knock. It barges in without warning. And today, it walked in wearing muddy shoes and a trembling bow. A security guard finally approached Ira, annoyed, ready to escort her out. That's when Rayyan stepped off the elevator, adjusting his suit, tightening his tie, preparing for another battle-like board meeting. He didn't see her at first. But he heard her. Please, sir, can you read my letter? It's very important. For the first time in many years, he stopped walking. Her voice was so soft, yet so broken, it froze him mid-step. The guard tried to shoo her away. Little girl, go home. But Rayyan raised a hand sharply, signaling him to stop. Ira looked up, terrified, then hopeful, then scared again. Rayyan sighed, annoyed at himself for even caring. Fine. Give me the letter. But be quick. I don't have time. And she placed the envelope in his hand like it was her whole world. Inside the elevator he opened it, more out of impatience than curiosity. But what he read made his chest feel tight. The letter wasn't written by her. It was written for her. By her mother. Dear sir, if you are reading this, it means my daughter has found the courage to reach you. I am gravely ill, and I won't be here much longer. My final wish is simple. Please help Ira. She has no one else. She's a bright child, kind, gentle. She deserves a chance at life. Please, don't let her end up alone. A dying mother. Rayyan blinked hard. Once, twice. The elevator door opened, but he didn't step out. His legs wouldn't move. He read the letter again. And again. Something inside him, something buried for years, began cracking. He rushed back downstairs. The guard pointed him toward the exit. Ira was outside in the rain, hugging her backpack tightly, waiting for an answer she feared would never come. He walked up to her slowly, breathing unsteadily. Why me? He asked. Why did she tell you to find me? Ira looked at him with eyes too grown for a 7-year-old. Because, Mama said you help people. She said you saved a lot of families with your charity. She said you look strict, but your heart is not bad. She said, maybe you won't let me disappear. The last words hit him like a punch to the chest. Disappear. That's what happens to children with no family. He clenched the letter in his hand. Not with anger, this time with fear. Fear of what would happen if he walked away. Fear of what he would become if he ignored her. For years he avoided emotions. But today, emotions found him. He knelt in front of her, rain dripping down his face, mixing with something warm from his eyes he didn't want to admit was a tear. Where is your mother now? He asked gently. Ira swallowed. Hospital. She said she doesn't have many days left. He didn't ask anything else. He picked her up, gently, protectively, and carried her to his car. They drove to the hospital. And when they entered the dimly lit room, the woman lying on the bed smiled painfully. She lifted her hand weakly toward her daughter, then toward Rayyan. I knew you'd come, thank you. He couldn't speak. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't understand why he was chosen. The mother whispered, I watched your interviews, you looked lonely, like someone who forgot what love feels like, maybe Ira can remind you. He closed his eyes, trying to steady himself, but his voice cracked, I don't know how to be anything for anyone. The mother smiled warmly. Just be safe for her. That's enough. Ira climbed beside her mother, crying softly. Rayan stood there helplessly, feeling the weight of a promise he didn't know how to keep. Hours later, the machine slowed. The mother held Ira's face with trembling fingers. My final wish, she whispered, is that you stay with him. Let him protect you. Let him be your home. Then her hand fell. Silence. Ira broke into sobs. And for the first time in his life, Rayan wrapped his arms around someone and held them while they cried. Days passed. Ira refused to leave the hospital at first. Rayan stayed with her. He brought food. He took care of the paperwork. He supported her when she couldn't stand. He listened when she whispered her fears. He sat outside her room when she slept, afraid she might wake up alone. Slowly, painfully, their worlds began to weave together. He took her home eventually, his big, empty penthouse that never heard the sound of laughter. Now it did. Now it echoed with small footsteps. Now it smelled like crayons and warm soup. But the real change happened inside him. The man who once believed emotions were weakness, now woke up at night to check if a little girl was asleep. The CEO who fired people without blinking, now helped braid someone's hair for school. The man who once guarded his heart like a fortress, now felt it soften every time she held his hand. He became her protector, her mentor, her supporter, her safe place. And she became something he never thought he deserved. A reason to be human again. Months later, at her school event, the principal asked the audience if anyone wished to speak about kindness and courage. Before Rayan could stand, Ira tugged his sleeve gently. I want to say something.